The worst injury that I've ever had was my knee injury, which occurred in South Africa doing a combination of a squat with a weightlifting platform moved apart, and all of a sudden the legs started spreading, and I had 500 pounds on my shoulder, and the whole thing started collapsing.
Oh my lord. Wow. That's just one of those freak accident type things. I can only imagine he's there squatting all this weight pushing down and then his legs spread like that. Yeah, of course his knee's going to have a little bit of damage. Wow. I thought it was from bad form or something. There's no accounting for form when the ground below you starts moving and you have 500 pounds on your shoulders. Jesus. Hello, Adam Cardona of Elite Healers Sports Massage. What we're going to be doing is we'll be looking at an Arnold Schwarzenegger fitness video on how to lose body fat. And honestly, if you ask me, Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the classics of like bodybuilding, weightlifting, and good health. So I know I've been talking a lot about how to build up your body safely and effectively with proper strength training and massage therapy. But I want to get into something a little classic and then kind of talk about what benefits we can see. So just give me 1 sec as I pull it up. There we go. It's on screen. So let's look at this.
Arnold to talk music. What's the best way to get rid of belly fat?
Well, obviously, you must be a guy.
Uh-oh. You know this was recorded before 2020, but let's hear what he has to say. So you got to be a guy to lose belly fat. Let's see why.
When you ask a question like that, because usually women would say, how do I improve my outer thigh or my inner thigh? They're flabby, or the back of the arms are flabby, or how can I make sure that my breasts are becoming a little bit more firm? And then they will go to the stomach. But guys, I see a guy, I just saw a guy the other day in Gold's Gym, an old friend of mine, who always was muscular. You know something? That now 20 years later, I've seen him for the first time again. He was still muscular. But all of a sudden, he had the gut sticking out to here. It literally looked like he was 8 months pregnant.
I know exactly what he means. There's some guys there, I guess they like their beer or something. They get those pregnancy bellies where it's just like expanded all the way. And yeah, I think guys do store a lot of fat in their belly region. So I have no disagreements just here, but let's keep going.
But everything else, the calves, the thighs, the arms, and everything when he trained was still muscular. So it was only the stomach, because that's where guys get attacked. It's the stomach. So it's the simple rule is, whenever you eat fattening food, so you get older and your metabolism slows down, where does it go first with the guy? It goes to the stomach.
He did say something very important over there. As you get older, your metabolism does slow down, and maybe it's just not something he's mentioned just yet, but if you're doing strength training and you're building muscle requires energy. So the more muscular you are, the more energy your body burns, kind of keeping you always burning that fire. So your metabolism won't go down as quickly as you get older if you're strength training and you build that muscle and you keep a low percentage of body fat. But let's keep going. Let's hear what Arnold has to say further.
But also when you now go on a diet, the first place that it leaves is the stomach. So there's really no specific diet for the stomach. It's just in general, you want to lose body fat.
He's totally right. There is no such thing as spot reduction. You're not going to, I need to lose a bit of the fat here, or I need to lose a bit of fat on my belly, or what have you. You know, wherever you put it on first, you'll take it off first. It's just the rule of how the body puts on fat. Anyway, let's keep going.
Your body fat maybe is at 15%. You want to get it down to 12% or to 10%. The way you do that is by burning more calories every day than you eat. So what you want to do is let's say to take 2,000, the number 2,000.
Calorie deficit, totally good. Totally makes a lot of sense with calorie deficits. Burning more calories than you're taking in is better than caloric restriction, but also just changing the quality of what you eat's huge and important. And staying away from processed foods, because if you want to have proper energy and lower your chances of hurting yourself, you got to stay away from those processed foods, man.
You want to go and have 2,000 calories you eat every day, but burn off 2,500 calories a day. And now you have a negative of 500, and every day you will start slowly going down with the body weight, down with the body fat. And the first place where we go is at the stomach. And then, of course, don't forget to do the vacuum. Practice the vacuum. So that when I'm going to stand up right now, you stand like this.
The vacuum. Okay, I know exactly what he's talking about, because I was a little confused when he started talking about the vacuum. But there's this muscle that goes around your abdominal region. You know, everyone knows rectus abdominis, you know, the abs that go up and down, but there's one that covers that area like packing tape. It's known as the transverse abdominis, and its main function is to like stabilize the core, but then you can also do like Arnold's doing, where you do the vacuum and you bring in your stomach. And the more you activate the transverse abdominis, the more that vacuum effect is going to happen.
And you hold it like that, 15 seconds, 3 times 15 seconds. And now your brain starts remembering, oh, one of the functions I have is stand against the wall every day and just practice and keep your head back, your chest out, walk around like that, like beaten dogs. I hate that look. So forget about that. So stand against the wall every day and just practice and keep your head back, your chest out, and stand like this for 5 minutes. It reminds the head.
So he's talking about postural correction on this one, and that's also very important. How you hold your body is going to really dictate what you look like and how you present yourself to the world. So it's not only how you're training your muscles in the gym, but if you're training your chest every day and you walk around like with your shoulders forward and your head forward, it's not going to be as prominent as having your chest open, squeezing those muscles in your back so it opens up your chest, holding your head higher so it just presents what you have. Anyway, let's keep going with Arnold. I like it always.
Brain that it has to keep you straight all day. The same is with the stomach always. It keeps you always pouring in the stomach and remind you not to just let it out and be out of control.
What was your best squat?
My best squat was around 575.
That's a heavy squat. I don't know how it relates to body fat, unless you're talking about building muscle to lose body fat. But yeah, Arnold no squat. But let's keep going with this. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Doing being a good squatter. So I was struggling much more. I was bending forward much more. I was having to put a block underneath my heels to keep straight, keep the body straight. I remember that Franco Colombo.
All right.
Keeping the elbows up high and then just looking up and going down because they kept my position, my body pretty straight. So I did that a lot of times. But you know, squat is just a very important exercise. It's like deadlift, bench press, and like rowing, bent over rowing, and dumbbell flies and barbell curls. These are all basic exercises that you need to do. So I was a fanatic about squats. And I used to train the people like Franco that were good squatters to inspire me.
It's really true what he's saying about having good form and doing all the basic exercises, because you're really nothing without all the basic exercises. You do the like CrossFit stuff and all that, but really you got to have a good foundation, because even something like CrossFit, it takes from Olympic lifting, it takes from powerlifting, it takes from a lot of the fundamental exercises, it combines them into one. But you really have to have all your basic movements, from your compound movements of like squat, bench, deadlift, to single arm exercises like tricep exercises and bicep exercises. Let's continue with Arnold.
I'm a 35-year-old who just started strength training for the first time in my life. Do you have any advice for a late beginner?
Well, the first advice I would give you is not to make the same mistake I made. I went to a weightlifting gym and I asked the guys to train me, and then they trained me for 2 hours, which was way too much. But
he is totally right. It doesn't even matter if you're 35 or you're 15. When you're completely inactive and you want to get going in the gym again, like you're sedentary and you want to become active, you have to pace yourself. Because if you're doing a 2-hour workout on your first day, guess what? You're going to wake up the next day and you're going to be so stiff. Your body's going to hate you. You have to progress your way up and get to where you want to be. Otherwise, you're going to do too much too soon, and that can result in a lot of soreness, but could also result in injury. But if you do mess up in that way, best thing would be is to stretch and to get a sports massage to kind of restore yourself as quickly as possible, so that hellish soreness can just kind of go away. All right, let's hear what Arnold has to say.
I think this was their way of kind of like having fun with me. I was 15 years old, and those champions there in this weightlifting club just said, yeah, try to do this exercise, and you got to do this exercise, and you got to do this, and do 5 sets, and do 10 reps, and do 15 reps, and all this. And so then when I was finished, I remember I was driving home with the bicycle. I was riding for around half an hour, 45 minutes. Everything was dandy and fine. But then all of a sudden, I had no more feeling in my hands. Absolutely, the feelings went awry, and it was gone. And all of a sudden, I landed in the ditch and wiped out with the bicycle because I didn't know how to hold on to the bar. I didn't have any feelings anymore in my hands. And then all of a sudden, the legs gave out. So I was like walking home, like totally wobbly, and it was disastrous. And the next day,
he got instantly sore, and that is one of the negative things, especially when you're a beginner.
I was so sore everywhere. So that was the wrong way to start. So what I would do.
Yeah, people watching, you could learn a lot from guys who make stupid mistakes. Don't let some guy's stupid mistake eventually become your stupid mistake, especially if they're on camera talking about it. Use that as a way to just prevent yourself from making the same mistake that someone else is trying to coach you against. It's always good to learn from your elders.
We should simply do no more than 3 sets of body part. There's no hurry. We've done it all these years without it. So now just slowly start with 3 sets of 10 reps for each exercise, 3 sets of curls, 3 sets of triceps extensions, 3 sets of shoulder press, 3 sets of squats, everything 3 sets, and then let it be. And it's just
good for a beginner to do the 3 sets of different things, and kind of, even if it's a little bit underweight in your first time, it's your first time. So you'd rather be a little bit underweight and progress yourself, because I've seen people put on too much weight too soon, like they're keeping up with the other guy, or they're just overdoing it for whatever reason. And that could be really gross, because I've seen some stuff, it's just like, you watch a person do too much and then they let go of the machine, or the machine whips them, and it looks like an injury. You got to be careful of that. But there are limits to the 3x3, and that's only later on, after you've progressed and the body no longer adapts that. Then you got to look at changing up your workout so it's no more 3x10.
slowly work up there from there. And then as soon as you start detecting that there are certain areas that you develop really well because of genetics, and other areas that you don't develop well, that they're falling behind, then you know how to make the adjustments to your training. Make you do the 3 sets for the body parts that grow really well, and you now increase to 5 sets of body parts, or 6 sets for those body parts that don't grow so well and that are falling behind. This is how you then make the adjustments, and that's why I always say everyone cannot train the same training routine, because everyone has a different body and everyone has different needs.
How long do you usually ride a bicycle?
There's really no usual. I would say no more than an hour. I would say the average is around an hour. And I work out with weights 45 minutes a day. So there's like an hour and 45 minutes. And sometimes I do some extra work, stretching exercises, or some ab exercises and stuff like that. And then there are occasions, like when I'm up in Sun Valley, where I ride maybe 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah, if you're trying to bodybuild and get bigger, cardio is not going to be your friend. You'd rather do something like some kind of power endurance training, like kettlebell exercises, where you get the heart rate up, or HIIT, you still get the heart rate up, but it's just a little bit different. It involves more strength, so you're not going to lose as much of your muscle mass.
I would say I'm not one of those fanatics that has to be on the bike all day long, like some people do. I'm happy I'll be an hour workout to really, kind of put some stress on it, on my heart and on the cardiovascular system, and also to put some pressure on my legs and to really go, and then casually ride again, and then go, and really pedal really hard. I think it's great, and it really is great for my head also. I really feel great after a great bike ride.
Did you ever do any strongman training, like the stones or the farmer carry?
Oh, the strongman stuff. Now, beginners, doing strongman exercises is not for you. As it says, it's strongman. So you got to become a strongman first before you do the strongman stuff, because it involves things like the Atlas ball and other feats of strength that are just going to be a bit much for any beginner. Now, I'm kind of curious to see what his answer is.
Part of my bodybuilding training was powerlifting. So we did strongman and stuff, but they did not do like the stone lifting. There was a stone lifting in Munich, but we didn't really train for it because that stone or the cement block, it was really, they weighed 580 pounds. It wasn't really available all year. So they would bring it out at Beer Fest, and then they will be available for 30 days. And so you can beat these 30 days, you can come there and you can be the day's champion, and they will register you and you write it down. And you get listed as one of the champions of the day. And then at the end of the month, all the 30 champions of each day, the champions, they come together on this one day, they compete against each other. So that's, then the stone goes away again. So you can't really train with that all year long. But I mean, we would do,
Sounds fun, having some kind of training like that. And you can't really train it practically until like you're actually in the competition. Fun stuff that Arnold's got into. I mean, this video was way more than losing belly fat, and I see it just going into his history and his training techniques, but this is actually a bit fun. So let's continue and see what's going on. By the way, if you like this stuff and you want me to do more like video commentary critique things, then make sure you firmly press down on that like button and you show me a little bit of support.
lifting, heavy lifting, powerlifting and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say I did any of the traditional strongman stuff like throwing tires and throwing logs through the air and all that stuff. I never did any of that.
What was your worst injury?
So that means he's less strongman and more bodybuilder, because the strongmans will do all that, like the throwing of Atlas balls and greater feats. But bodybuilders are gonna just hammer home their bodies focusing on different muscle groups each day. I mean, there's different ways of training, different modalities. So like a power lifter, a bodybuilder, an Olympic lifter, they're all going to have different ways of training their bodies, all valid, but under certain regimented rules. So let's see with his injury. This is going to be interesting. I might just end it at this because I don't want to do the whole video in case, even though I'm repurposing this and kind of adding my commentary, I don't want to like upset the people that originally put this out. If you do want to see the whole video, go to Top Newsage, their YouTube account, and you can watch the whole thing. But let's hear about his injury and see where it
The worst
is.
injury that I've ever had was my knee injury, which occurred in South Africa, doing a combination of a squat with a weightlifting platform moved apart, and all of a sudden the legs started spreading, and I had 500 pounds on my shoulder, and the whole thing started collapsing.
Oh my Lord. Wow. That's just one of those freak accident type things. I can only imagine he's there squatting all this weight pushing down and then his legs spread like that. Yeah, of course his knee's going to have a little bit of damage. Wow. I thought it was from bad form or something. There's no accounting for form when the ground below you starts moving and you have 500 pounds on your shoulders. Jesus.
The weight falling over me and all this. And then the leg straightened out and was shaking down stage, and my leg was shaking, and it popped back in. So I said to myself, even though I was sweating and I was kind of almost passing out, I said to myself that, I can get up. And they helped me up, and I got up, and I said, I can walk, even though very, kind of slow, with a limp, but I could walk. So therefore, I can do my posing routine. I just, remember not to be that kind of, to be careful. And then, sure enough, I would do my posing routine, and then the people were screaming, and I started getting carried away because people were screaming and applauding and standing ovation. That I would come back out on stage after an accident like that, and I totally forgot not to go down to my kneeling shot. I had one leg spread out like that, and one leg bent, and I'm doing that double bicep pose. And I went down like that, and then the knee went popped back out again, and then I fell over, and I was like in pain again, and I was shaking, and then it popped out again, and all this stuff.
Wow, what an injury. And when your adrenaline's going like that, of course you don't necessarily feel it. I just want to hear about how long it took for him to recover, because you had to have your body trained properly to survive an injury like that. Keep going and then have it pop out and pop in again when you start just posing however longer later. It was probably within 30 minutes or so, but whoa.
I mean, people heard it all the way to the back row. It was like, wow. And so then I had to come back, and I had to get knee surgery. And then the doctor said, I had the cartilage surgery, meniscus, the kneecap was moved to the side, the tendon was torn, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, everything was wrong with the knee.
Oh, so you see something like that. He had cartilage, the kneecap was moved. Sounds like he probably had some ligament issues in there. Oh, that's a surgery, and I'd say at least 8 weeks or more of recovery. 8 weeks of like PT to 12 weeks, I would probably guess, from something like that. That'll take you out real long. We could talk more about injuries and injury recovery in a different video, but yeah, when that happens, that's when you need both, surgery first, especially the doctor says you get it done. But when you're finally done with the surgery, that's when you have to combine physical therapy and medical massage therapy together to get the best results, because one side is going to strengthen everything that is weak and overstretched or anything of that nature, physical therapy, but the other side is going to have scar tissue, it's going to have knots, it's going to have muscles protecting, and with that, you can't exercise that away. You need medical massage therapy to open it up, to release and to restore. So yeah, he was probably injured for a good number of weeks.
But I had a good doctor by the name of Dr. Carter from Curl and Joe from their office here, and I had good physical therapy afterwards. And within 4 months, I could start squatting again.
So 4 months to start squatting again. When I said 8 weeks or so, that's more just so you feel normal and you can get back to your office and whatnot. But yeah, it is going to take double that amount of time to recover, to get back into a state where you can compete. It's just what it is. As you're recovering, you go from post-surgery, can't walk, to relearning to walk, to walking, to eventually being able to do things modestly with a little bit of stress, to eventually getting back to competition form. So it all so depends on just where you're trying to be. For someone like him, it's going to take longer because back in those days, he wanted to get back to the bodybuilding style training. the trainer's legs to get back into the competition. So that is definitely something that you want to avoid. And part of what you want to do to properly take care of yourself is, of course, after you target the muscles from strength training, or you're playing any sport, then the muscles you target, like if you're a pitcher, then it'll be like your shoulders. If you're a basketball player, it'd be your legs. If you're a runner, it'd be your legs. But basically, you stretch those areas afterwards, because when activity shortens the musculature so it can perform, but then you lengthen it just to get it back to its original resting state. Then every so often, you basically do massage therapy to help you recover, to get that tune up, to make sure that the muscles don't have any knots and they stay balanced from muscle to muscle over the joint. Because if you have imbalances in the muscles, that could also injure you at different joints like your knee. And you do all these things to reduce your chances of injury, so something like that doesn't happen. Though if the ground moves from under you, that's nothing of your fault. Like, I'm sure he had a great team around him helping him, especially as he was in his like prime of it, when he was at his peak. But still, the things you can do to prepare yourself, not only to train to your best, but to be optimized with the proper recovery, will reduce your chances from getting injured and help you perform better. That's why you want to look at stuff like Arnold Schwarzenegger or any other bodybuilder. Like when I've done the superhero workout reviews and we've looked at like different celebrities and what they do to get in shape, it's all about the proper strategy, taking care of your body, doing the right things for your body, getting the right amount of recovery, and that includes sleep, that includes diet as well. Because when you have all these factors at play, you're basically setting yourself up to be better than your competition. Because if all factors in training are the same, then it's your recovery and your nutrition that'll give you the edge to beat your competition. Now, if you like that, then what I want you to do is click on this video right here. And if not, I'm pretty sure you'll like this one right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.